KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're the Real Estate Rat Pack. Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack!
Every week, the same thing. We got some shout-outs.
We have some shout-outs.
I don't know
to
if
do.
everything's the same thing, though. Look at Ashley. She is looking hot today.
I know. I asked her about that. I said, what, do you got a job interview or something? You trying to get rid of us?
Well, look out, KKHT.
Yeah.
She's on the move.
Y'all need to pay her more. I think she's heading somewhere.
So let's start out. A great shout-out to Dimensions by Dan, who took
Holy cow.
great care of us. We had installed Nancy First as the chairman of Houston Association of Realtors on Wednesday, the 10th. Dimensions by Dan showed up early.
Yes.
Took us over there. Nancy was so happy.
She really was.
She really was. And she really loved that when we were leaving, everybody else was waiting for their cars. She climbs in the limo and does a little queen wave. She loved that.
And this past Saturday, my wife celebrated her second annual 39th birthday. And I surprised her with a group of her friends, and we all went up to Papacitos and ate and everything, and nobody knew, but when they came outside, we had a stretch Hummer parked and waiting to pick everybody up and take us downtown to Pete's Piano Bar.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, I tell you what, that Hummer was so long. We were trying to take pictures inside, and the flash wouldn't reach the back of the back of the car. It was still dark down there.
Actually, I saw your Facebook posting, and I'm going, darn, how do you even turn that thing around?
I know. I mean,
Yes.
those things are ridiculously long, but
And you know,
man, a
and-
beautiful vehicle.
And then I've got them contracted for this week, actually, for a big outing. We're
we
doing out
love
of Kingwood. So, Dimensions by Dan, great individual and great company, and the service is just
Yeah,
impeccable.
the service. I tell you what, I've ridden in limos, and most limos are pretty nice.
Yeah.
Sort of a limo is a limo, more or less. But man, I tell you what, Dan is the thing he's really got going on is their service. Man, they just overboard on how they take care of you.
Yeah, so when you roll
Big
the
shout
Rat
outs
Pack,
there.
When you roll the Rat Pack,
it's
you're rolling
always first
style.
class, so
We also have some stuff that we needed to toss
we'll
out.
talk about. Well, I want to congratulate. I was asked to be the MC for WCR, which is Women's Council of Realtors, yesterday for the Houston chapter, which is the oldest chapter. It's now 70 years old.
Wow.
And Peggy Pettenkost was installed as the president for 2015. That was a great honor and privilege for me. So congratulations.
I didn't
Peggy.
realize it was that long ago that you got it started up.
Well, I'm seasoned.
He is the godfather of real estate.
That's right. That's right. So let's talk a little bit about the Pelchin home, because we've got some great guests. I really want to get into some of these conversations. We've got some
Yes.
unbelievable information to get out today.
And the Pelchin Children's Center, we're actually doing a fundraiser for them. We've actually, I think, maxed out our adopted children so far,
Right.
which is great. We're still accepting donations so that we can buy additional items for the Pelchin Children's Center that they need to continue to provide great living environment, great educational facilities, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're
Yes.
interested, look us up on Facebook, give one of us a call, look again on Facebook, or go to the realestateratpack.com. We are always out there looking for donations. We're going to go out there and deliver everything to the Pelchin Children's Center.
And
the
we're
week of Christmas.
trying to get enough funds together to get them 18 new sets of twin bedding.
That is correct.
That's a big one that we can still get help with.
Yes.
And guys, when it sounds so trivial to say, get a twin bed, but we got these kids new sheets and pillows and pillow covers last year, and all of the kids got radio controlled cars and all this stuff. And I never will ever forget, as long as I live, the one kid who didn't come out to play with his toys because he was just laying in his bed because he had new sheets.
And he was going to be warm that night.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave because he had new sheets. That's how much these things mean to people.
There wasn't a lot of dry eyes.
Yeah, it was
in the house,
crazy.
so-
Not a lot whatsoever. Right
An amazing experience, and we raised over 5,000 last year, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
So we definitely want to beat that this year. So if
but we
you're
did that in 4 days, and it was thanks to the alumni of the Rat Pack.
Yes.
So I also want to do a shout out, I guess, Bobby Baker, who with Gann Homes,
Yes.
she stepped up and she has 4 people adopting 8 of the kids. And when I say adopting, of course, they're not adopting the kids; they are providing their gift list that they had written.
Right.
And so they
have sponsored a child.
Sponsored 8.
Wow.
And then it's already raised about $200 just within her office. So
That is
Bobby,
amazing.
thank you so much. You
Yes.
are culturally correct.
Yes, but culturally correct. I like that. And be sure to follow us on Twitter. We're actually
We're tweeting
Twitterfied
now.
and we're actually doing stuff on Twitter. We've had an account forever. We just, let's face it,
Yeah,
we're
not
all
good at
old
it.
and we don't know. Bridget Martin, if you're listening, I know that you had said something about the Rat Pack because I could see the tweet scrolling by at the top of my phone. It took me about 20 minutes to find where that was at. So thank you for talking about
To
us.
show you how we're making an entry into the marketplace is that I was at another WCR on Thursday, and I'm sitting next to this very attractive young woman, and of course I strike up a conversation, being the gentleman that I am.
What? You,
And-
Rob? Come on.
Yeah, I know. And she said, "Oh yeah, I listen to you every Saturday."
That is awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
That is really neat.
We
Well,
have a
Still scares
problem.
me. What's wrong with
We
you?
might have to start watching what we say nowadays. So listen, any other shout-outs we need to do this morning?
No, follow us on the Twitter.
Okay.
Fo-
Right.
Follow us on the Twitter.
Yes.
I
We'll
sound
tweet
so
out to you.
old.
Yeah, wow.
We have a girl now, Katie. I'll give her a little shout
Yes.
out, who has been doing an amazing job with our Twitter and keeping people connected and all that sort of thing.
Richard Pangburn.
Yes, yeah.
Longer. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's a little funny note.
I am very excited about our first guest here,
Yes.
Dr. Oscar Gonzalez, who I have known. Do we want to admit how long we've known each other? 15
At least 3 weeks.
plus weeks,
At least 3
years.
weeks.
I've got a little cough.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you.
So, Oscar is probably the most eminent, qualified person to talk about generational selling, cultural. He is with Gary Green. It's Better Homes and Gardens, Gary Green, and in their corporate office. And
That's
so,
correct.
welcome to the show
Thank
today.
you. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure having you on here.
And he's my go-to guy, and I've gone to his seminars and things like that, and I always learn something new. So let's talk about a little bit about your background. Where'd you start? And you can do like a Reader's Digest version. And how'd you get to where here? And
It all began with the
because
dinosaurs.
You were running an association, and I think it was in Alabama.
Yes,
and,
yeah, I
And
mean-
so you've done a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, I started out in public accounting, and then
Oh, I can't. I can't see
Believe it or
that.
not.
You got too much of a personality to
and,
be an accountant. Okay, you
it's-
accountants don't call me. Okay.
and I spent about 22, 23 years with realtor associations in different cities: Milwaukee, Austin, here in Houston, and then Alabama.
Yeah.
So I was the state representative there for the Alabama Association.
Well, you were wearing a lot of hats at that time because not only
Yes.
that, you were doing consulting for the National Association of Realtors.
Correct, right.
I remember you had been as the executive vice president for the Houston Association of Realtors,
Right.
and you were doing stuff with Austin Association of Realtors.
That's correct, right? Yeah.
as well. So,
Alabama.
I mean, talk about a depth of of knowledge and experience and stuff. So let's talk about the stuff that's near and dear to your heart, which is you do a lot about cultural diversity. And
Yeah,
so,
we do. Yeah, I do a lot. We study a lot of trends in terms of the profile of societies and communities that are changing. Primarily Houston, because it's just such a. I think the Census Bureau refers to us as kind of a petri dish. Is where the country will be in the next, say, 5 to 10 years. And and if you look back 5 to 10 years ago, it really is. I mean,
Right.
This society is changing to look like Houston, and I think a lot of times people take for granted that Houston is that.
yeah, it is a petri dish.
Well, and I always tell everybody all the time is, me growing up internationally, Houston probably is the best representation of the melting pot of the United States. We talk about, cultures and, race, color, creed, religion, sex, everything coming together in a single area of what's created the United States to be this great nation we are. And Houston embodies that. Houston really, really embodies that.
Oh, absolutely. when you have 25% of your population that's foreign born, that's
Right.
pretty significant. I mean,
Absolutely.
compared to the U.S.
Well, let's
average,
face
which
it.
is 13.
Everywhere outside of Texas is pretty much foreign born. So
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, I always like that map that says Texas, and then all the other states are not Texas.
Well, whenever we refer to other on the census description, I always say that's people like Dallas. Those are those other people.
it's a personal.
We do have some Dallas listeners too.
Oh,
by the way.
sorry, guys.
Richard Weeks.
It's still a personal favorite joke of mine to talk to somebody when they name they're from like Chicago or New York or something. Oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Chicago. I said get this kind of confused look on my face. That's north of Dallas, isn't it?
Well, whenever I'd speak at NAR, I'd always say, "Well, I'm from the Republic of Texas by way of Houston." You hear this? Oh God!
Yeah. Well, I'm a stat guy, and I see you brought
Yes,
that stuff.
yeah.
So let's talk about 5 years ago, what Houston looked like and what Houston looks like today as far as the
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Houston is now the most culturally diverse large metropolitan area in the country, more so than Chicago, San Francisco, New York. We also have the most consulates in the city next to Washington, D.C. I think a lot of people don't realize that, which is a real driver for
one of those
international
people
business.
didn't realize that.
Most
Yeah.
consonants?
Yeah, we have the most continents in Houston.
I think that was
Or
constant.
I'm very fond of vowels myself.
I'm not going there.
We are digressing. Did he say?
So,
did he say
moving
his
on.
vowels or vowels? What question there?
Yeah, I think you're going to
Both.
fit right in here. Oscar.
No, but one of the things that we, as far as Houston, it's actually, it's changed so much, and it's the most. When you look at like the surrounding counties, it's the same thing. Like Fort Bend County is the most diverse county in the country,
Yeah.
and Sugar Land is the most diverse city in the country. So you see
Wow.
that, so you see that dynamic
That just
playing
sounds
out.
crazy.
It does. But it's when you look at the stats and
I would have
things like
never
that.
have thought that.
Yeah.
What do you think is attributes to that? that Fort Bend itself is it the medical
Yeah.
center, or is it just the
I think
different
that's
industries?
yeah, that's one of the biggest drivers. I think accessibility to the different places, like the medical center, is a big one. Because if you look a lot of at the profile of the professionals that are in Sugar Land, it's primarily medical,
Right.
and engineering. But and some of the oil, a lot of the oil industry is there too, but primarily medical. And then you see what's going up out there and part of it has to do with it's an insured group, population. But you've got because I live in Sugar Land, but within 5 miles there's Methodist, St. Luke's, MD Anderson, Memorial Hermann.
They got all the money. There's big money in sick.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to be sick in Houston or Sugar Land.
Yes.
So, this is the place to be. Yeah. So,
And so, but let's talk about the makeup, because 5 years
Right.
ago we had a certain makeup of nationalities and ethnicities and things like that. Now it has changed, and probably not as dramatically as 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
it still has changed.
I mean, even if
substantially.
you go back to like, we look at it by decades, obviously. But when you look at like, for example, the trend between 1960 to 2010, I mean, it's significant. Like the Asian population went from 0.3% to 7.7%. That's huge.
And then
It is
considering how
huge.
big we are, and this is all
Right.
the MSA of Houston, or within the city?
This is the MSA.
And the MSA.
Yeah, and then when we
Okay.
look at like say the white population, it went from like 74% to 33%. So you see a real shift in terms of the profile of the community.
And it's not that it's not like white flight. It's more like we just have so many that are moving in from other countries.
Right,
That,
yeah.
That
Yeah,
create
well,
that situation.
Exactly. When we look at the inbound, who's inbound to Houston, the Houston metro area, of those that are of the domestic one, it's 61% are domestic inbound, meaning from another state or from another city here in Texas. But when you look at the inbound from international, it's 39%. That's huge.
Wow.
That is unheard of in most communities.
What are the largest populations that we have right now as far as that breakdown? In the MSA right now.
It's primarily the largest, without a doubt, is the white population. Obviously, is larger, but I think
I thought he was going to say
33%.
Walmart shoppers.
Yeah, that's right.
They're the largest. from
But
what I've seen.
they're it's we're more educated, well incomed society, so it's Target now. So
Right.
we're moving up to Target. Come on. No, but 33% is are white, 18 or 20% roughly is black, 41% is Hispanic, 7.7% Asian. Asian being that it
So
includes
41%. I mean, the Hispanics are 41%. So
Yeah,
they
and
are the largest.
yes, by far the largest population. But the fastest growing segment is the other population.
Other
Yes, and that's yeah. I was joking
people
about
from Dallas.
So
Yeah,
are they,
people
are they
from
Cree or are they from Guardians of the Galaxy? Or?
Yeah, they're from Guardians in the. But it's those who mark multiracial, and so what you're starting to see play out in Houston is that interracial marriages where traditionally it was taboo to marry outside of your culture. That's not taboo anymore.
No,
And
not
so-
at all. I've seen, of course, it's all rules of God, right?
That's exactly
And,
right. So,
I like, that's the thing I like about Houston.
Yeah.
It's such great diversity, and I love to go to a restaurant. You might hear 8 different languages going on with
Oh, yeah.
8 different tables, type
yeah,
of things.
yeah, because my wife is not white, non-Hispanic, but so my kids are referred to as mixed Hispanics.
Mixed Spanish.
Hispanics. Well, we are having a great time, but guess what we're going to come up against right now?
break.
A break. So we're going to come back in a minute to continue to talk about Hispanics and a lot more here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sitting on a rainbow, got the string around my finger. What a